Raw Selvedge denim jeans are often a pricey investment, especially to those who are just getting into raw denim and are brand new on the raw denim scene and fresh to denim head culture. And yeah, these things do cost a lot. I've seen raw denim jeans cost $300, $400, $500, even $600. These things do get pretty pricey, and not a lot of people really understand why. So the other day I actually received this question on my TikTok, and I thought it was a really good question because as much as we talk about raw denim jeans on this channel, we never really got into what it takes, the cost, the labor, the logistics, everything that goes into raw denim. So I thought it was a perfect opportunity to finally talk about why raw Selvedge denim jeans are so expensive. And there's actually quite a few reasons why. The first thing that comes to mind is that Selvedge denim is actually made on Shuttle Looms, which are actually a vintage loom that requires a lot more human attention, a lot more attention to detail, a lot more handwork, a lot more skill, and it also makes a much smaller fabric in terms of width than the standardized projectile looms that most manufacturers use today. But we'll get to that a little later. But the thing is, the only way that you can actually get real authentic Selvedge denim is to make it on these vintage looms, because they actually make the self edge as opposed to a frayed edge which you would otherwise see on a projectile loom. Now the thing with this is, in order to get the Selvedge ID treatment, you actually have to make the pattern in a way where you actually have the seams end at the very edge of the pattern in order to get that detail, which again is very labor intensive, time consuming, and requires a lot of artisanal oversight. Now the thing with these looms is it doesn't necessarily make for a better denim just because it's made on the Shuttle Loom, but typically what brands will do because of the cost is they will actually seek out the best possible ingredients in terms of cotton, in terms of finishing, in terms of trimmings, in terms of dye stuff, and so on, just to make sure that the effort and time is not wasted, and they can therefore justify a higher price point as well as create a jean that's going to last a very long time. The thing is, the whole culture surrounding raw denim jeans is about longevity, is about an investment garment. It's about investing in a garment that mirrors the longevity and the durability of the vintage Levi's that we're still finding to this day. And the fact that a lot of these jeans are still in a wearable state is just a true testament to what it really means to make a truly lasting garment that is worthy of being titled an investment garment. I mean, when you really think about it, these are jeans that you could literally pass down to your children. We are still finding these old vintage jeans that are still in a wearable state because of the durability factor, because of the superior construction. And these jeans are some of the most beautiful jeans that you'll ever find. And part of that also has to do with the dye stuff, because a lot of these jeans used to actually be dyed with natural indigo as opposed to synthetic indigo, which most jeans are, especially denim that's made on projectile looms. And the thing with natural indigo is it actually costs quite a bit more to get this dye stuff because of the labor that it takes to cultivate and to manufacture into a dye stuff, which is something that again you have to factor into the cost, therefore contributing to the price to the end consumer. But the thing with natural indigo is that you get a fading capability that you really don't get from any other jean, and it's something that truly fades down to a gorgeous robin's egg blue with a little bit of a greenish cast over it. And these are some of my favorite jeans. I try not to buy anything that isn't natural indigo anymore because I just love the way that natural indigo dyes and the way that it fades, because you really just don't see this type of fading. And the thing with natural indigo is that it actually takes a lot more work to actually dye the denim and get it to a darker color. And I know there's a lot of brands that actually dye their yarn 16 times, 17 times, even 23 times I've seen, in order to achieve a deep indigo, which again is adding to the labor cost. And remember when I said that the width of the fabric is actually smaller from the Shuttle Looms as opposed to the projectile looms? So Shuttle Loom fabric on average is about 30 inches wide, and I believe projectile loom fabric is actually 60 to 63 inches wide. So you have a lot less room to work with when laying a pattern down to cut and sew, which again is going to require an artisanal skill. At the end of the day, raw Selvedge denim is an expensive garment because of the amount of labor that it takes to make just one pair of jeans. And to a lot of people who aren't knowledgeable in Selvedge denim, I can definitely see why it wouldn't seem worth it, or why it would just seem inaccessible. But the thing is, raw Selvedge denim doesn't necessarily have to be so expensive. There's brands like Uniqlo, Bravestar, Bronson MFG, Unbranded. There's so many brands out there now that while they're still a little pricey, they definitely make an investment garment accessible, especially for someone who's never been into raw denim before and just really kind of wants to try it out for the first time. And don't get me wrong, I can definitely understand how expensive these are, which is why these garments are not really meant to follow trends or to follow fashion. They're usually meant to be a one-time purchase for something that you could have for the rest of your life. These brands manufacture with the connotation that you're probably going to buy one pair of jeans from them, and then hopefully you're going to buy some shirts, shirts, maybe some jackets, and other quality garments from them as well. So with all that being said, there's no wonder why raw selvage denim is one of the more expensive investment garments, but is a garment that you're likely gonna have for the rest of your life, so long as you treat it right with proper care and you make sure that you wash your denim responsibly. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end of the video. I apologize if this video was a little off. I'm actually sick at home with right now, and I'm actually in a lot of pain, but I definitely did not want to skip 1 week for you guys, and I really felt that it was important to get this video out because I could really understand why someone who has no knowledge on raw selvage denim would see it as plain silly to spend $300, $400 on a pair of jeans. So hopefully this video was able to provide some insight as towards why the cost of raw selvage denim was so high. But anyways, I got some real exciting videos coming for you guys soon, so definitely stay tuned. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you next week.